Hey guys, PirateCaptainDark here, bringing you another way back Wednesday Monotype Tournament battle. This is the semi-final round of that tournament, and it's against the rock types, one of flying's biggest weaknesses. Right off the bat, my opponent's going to lead off with the Tyranitar, which sets up the Sandstorm, which boosts the special defense of all rock types by 30%, so it's already an uphill battle for me. I go for the close combat, but my opponent's not going to have any of that. He's going to switch into his Shuckle, which takes it really nicely. I'm going to go into my Butterfree so I can put this thing asleep. And unfortunately for me, he uses Toxic on it, which is going to be doing increasing residual damage every turn. And of course, he's going to go for the Protect to rack up some of that damage, and I'm not going to be able to put it to sleep right away. Luckily for me, his second Protect fails, so I'm able to get off that sleep powder and finally put it asleep, so I can now switch into something and hopefully maybe do something against this team for once. So I finally switch into my Skarmory. He also double switches into his Omastar. I was kind of afraid of what this thing was carrying, so I decided to scout by going back into Butterfree. And of course he's going to just set up entry hazards, which was what I was planning to do with my Skarmory. So I do feel a little bit pissed about that. I go for the Energy Ball, and of course he predicts that and switches back into his Shuckle, and that's not going to do anything to Shuckle with Sandstorm up. So at this point I figured that Butterfree's going to die next turn due to Sandstorm and Poison, so I might as well just leave it in and go for the attack. Not that it mattered, but I figured it would just be a meat shield regardless due to having lost its Focus Sash. I go into my Gyarados, and I figured this is the best time to set up some Dragon Dances while his Shuckle is asleep, and as my luck would have it, he wakes up on the second turn and goes for the Encore. So now I have two options. I can either A, stay in and run the risk of him using Toxic on me, or B, switch out. I'm obviously going to switch out and go into my Skarmory, who can avoid Toxic due to its Steel typing, but he also double switches and goes into Omastar. So now we're right back to where we started, and I am in a bad position. I go for the Stealth Rocks, seeing as I just want some entry hazards on his side of the field just in case he does have any Focus Sashers on his team. He goes for the Ice Beam. That's going to do a little bit more than half, something that I'm able to recover with my Roost. What I'm not, though, is this Surf. The Surf leaves me with about 1/4 HP, so it's not a very good amount. So I'm going to switch out into my Scyther, who I know can take at least one Surf from this thing, even with the Stealth Rug damage. But as it turns out, he alternates back into Ice Beam, and that's going to be easily finishing off that Scyther. So I'm forced to go out into my Charizard and take the risk with a Focus Blast. Now I know this was risky, but it was the only way that I could take out this Omastar in one hit. So I go for the Focus Blast. That's going to get rid of it in one hit. So finally I'm able to take out one of his Pokemon, and I thought I could also take out his Aerodactyl, but it's faster than me, and with the Rock Slide it's easily going to finish off Charizard. So right now I'm only left with 3 Pokemon. Almost half my team is gone, and this thing is just a powerhouse. It's just wrecking Pokemon left and right. It got rid of my Skarmory in one hit, but luckily for me, my Staraptor is scarred, so it will be able to go first. So I go straight for that close combat, and I thought that would be enough, but as my luck would have it, it is not. And I am left with like a slither of health while he goes for the Rock Slide, and that's easily going to be an overkill on me. At this point I was congratulating him because I know that he's faster than my Gyarados, but as it turns out, not only does his attack miss, but I go for the Dragon Dance, seeing as I was going to lose anyway, and that boosts my speed and my attack by 1, allowing me to outspeed this Aerodactyl and go for the Waterfall, finally finishing it off. So I have a glimmer of hope. Now I don't know 2 of his Pokemon on his team, and I'm not sure what he plans to do with his Shuckle, but I decide to go for the Taunt, hoping that it's only non-attacking moves on his Shuckle. So I saw right away he went for the Toxic. I went for the Taunt. It's a great play on my part. I'm going to go ahead and set up another Dragon Dance, putting me at +2 speed, +2 attack, while he goes for the Struggle, which doesn't really do that much, especially after lefties making up for Sandstorm damage. Now what you have to pay attention is that Sandstorm damage does 20 HP of damage, so I have to make sure I don't fall below that. I go for another Dragon Dance on the switch. That's +3 attack and speed. I'm really doing well right now. I'm feeling a little bit more confident. I'm going to go straight for that Waterfall. That's going to with stab, it's going to do a lot to this Tyranitar, and that's going to get taken out in one hit. So right now, all I know is that he has his Shuckle and 2 others. So he goes into his Grass Rock type, his Cradily. I was kind of fearful whether or not I could take this out in one hit, and unluckily I did not. And it goes for the Seed Bomb, but as turns out, that Seed Bomb did not manage to kill me. If it had brought me down to just 20 HP, just 40 more damage, yes, it would have won the battle, because the Sandstorm would have been able to take me out. I get a useless critical hit there, but it doesn't matter, I would have been able to take it out regardless. And I talked to him after the battle, and he said that he did carry Toxic on the Cradily, so if he had switched out to Cradily in the first place and just used Toxic, I would have probably been taken out using Shuckle's Protect. But he didn't think about that. He didn't think maybe that I had Taunt. I go for the Taunt after he goes for the Protect. Not that it mattered, he just recovered a little bit of HP. And at this point I have +3 attack, and Stab Waterfall is going to hurt anything that doesn't resist it. So Shuckle gets taken out, and he's down to his last Pokemon, his Rhyperior. And that's easily going to get taken out by my Waterfall. If you guys enjoyed this Gyarados clutch, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't. I shall see you guys next time. Have a good day. Later.